Hello everybody and welcome to Minecraft Disneyland. This is the series in which I explore the one-to-one scale recreation of Disneyland in Anaheim, California in the game of Minecraft here on the Magical Dream server, and I take a look at an attraction and talk a little bit about the real attraction in the real Disneyland in California. Today we're going to be taking a look at an attraction that I was about to say is relatively young, but I realized this year is its 20th anniversary. It is the Indiana Jones Adventure attraction in Adventureland. Now this attraction, like I said, 20 years old this year, opened on March 4th, had a soft opening on March 3rd. It's interesting because this is one of the attractions that exists in Disneyland that doesn't exist in Disney World, though it kind of in a weird way does, not really, but the technology is carried over. There is a version in Tokyo Disney Sea called Temple of the Crystal Skull, not based on Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, interestingly enough. That opened in 2001. And I mentioned that the technology exists in Disney World because the enhanced motion vehicle that is used in this attraction in Disneyland is actually the same technology used in Dinosaur in the Animal Kingdom. So they ride out like very similar attractions, even though they are totally different in terms of theming. Now, the history of this attraction sort of stems from the success of the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular in Disney's Hollywood Studios. George Lucas had decided to work again with Walt Disney Imagineering to create this new attraction. There are a lot of early concepts that were considered. They ranged from a minecart adventure, like speedy minecart adventure within a temple, to a walkthrough adventure. But ultimately what you ended up getting is this sort of ride-through adventure through a temple. So it's sort of like a mix of both of those, except you're not walking. It was created by hundreds of Imagineers, led by legendary Imagineer Tony Baxter, and it was such a large construction project that they actually took part of the parking lot, the Ear parking lot, and they demolished it, and they rerouted the monorail and the Jungle Cruise both to make room for this thing. This is massive. The queue itself is 0.8 kilometers. It's about a half a mile, and the attraction itself is 50,000 square feet. So you're talking about a really large ride, you're talking about a really large queue. The queue is gorgeous, highly detailed, very reminiscent of the Everest queue in Animal Kingdom, just in the amount of stuff there, how dense it is in terms of detail. So it's really cool. It's one of the things where if you're ever going to ride it, you want to take your time through the queue just so you can really soak in everything that's there. It was sponsored by AT&T for the first 7 years of its operation, 1995 to 2002, and in 2012, in September, it was closed temporarily for a bunch of refurbishment. Not a whole lot changed. It was usually enhancements, painting, lighting, effects, things like that. Reopened in December of 2012. Now, the ride vehicle itself, like I mentioned earlier, is the enhanced motion vehicle, the same technology used in Dinosaur, and the way that works is it is a vehicle that moves on a flat surface, more or less. However, that vehicle itself has a bunch of hydraulics on it, so it can shift up and down and create a pretty rough and tumbled ride that makes the illusion that you're in this vehicle that's driving over a very rocky terrain, and it gives the Imagineers the ability to have a very smooth ride track, so it makes their design easier, yet at the same time it makes it for an exciting experience for the rider. So it's sort of, it's the best of both worlds. However, it's not always sunshine and fun. In fact, fun fact, there are 35 gallons of hydraulic fluid used on one of these vehicles. And so in the event that one of the hydraulic hose splits, it apparently takes 2 hours to clean up the track. So if there ever is a hydraulic failure, if that ever happens, that means the ride's going to be down for quite a bit. That's why the Disney Sea, the Tokyo Disney Sea version, actually uses induction motors, so it's not at risk for doing that. Some other fun facts: the giant 2.5-ton Mercedes-Benz troop transport truck outside the queue of the ride, along with the mining car outside the queue, are both actual props from the Indiana Jones films. The first, the Benz troop truck, is from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and the small mining car is from the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom from the minecart scene. And beyond that, there are just a lot of very minor references to Indiana Jones all throughout the queue. For instance, one of them is a crate that is marked Deliver to Club Obi-Wan. Now, if you don't know, Club Obi-Wan is the fictitious club from the beginning of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and that itself is, of course, named after Star Wars, Club Obi-Wan, Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's also a crate that's marked 9906753, and that's the actual crate that holds the Ark of the Covenant from Raiders of the Lost Ark. And lastly, another really cool fact about the design of this attraction is at one point, once you get on, you sort of turn into this room where there are 3 doors. And the idea is every time you ride it, you're going through a different door to these 3 different temples. However, in reality, you're actually going through the same door each time. The way the ride's designed is there's actually 2 walls and a facade that shifts randomly in between cars. And so basically, it's got the 3 doors, and it'll shift all the way to the left, and when it shifts all the way to the left, you're still going through the quote-unquote middle door, but it appears to be the right door. It sometimes shifts to the middle, and you go straight through the middle, and sometimes it shifts to the right, so it makes it look like you're going through the left door, but it's all apparently the same door. And what's really cool is they even put fake tracks on the floor into the other 2 doors to make it look like it is more possible that you might go through one of those, or to sort of sell the illusion that, you know, there are 3 separate tracks. But in reality, there's only the one track. However, depending on the one you go through, a number of variations throughout the attraction change, both in lines that some of the, I guess, spirits say in the temple, and some of the lines that Indy says, and just like colors, things like that. So there is variation depending on which temple you go through, but that sort of physical aspect of going through the gates and going into the temple is a really cool optical illusion. Anyway, that's just a quick look at the Temple of the Forbidden Eye. Again, 20 years young this year. I cannot believe how old it is. Now I kind of feel old. If you would like to check this out in Minecraft, all you need is a copy of Minecraft and to head on over to the server main.magicaldreams.us. Magical Dreams is, of course, the 1-to-1 scale recreation of Disneyland. They are officially partnered with MC Magic, the 1-to-1 scale recreation of Disney World. If you'd like to see the history of some Disney World attractions, I have a series over there that discuss the history of many of those attractions. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Whatever you do this week, make the most of it because it makes it that much better. And I hope to see you next time for the next episode of Minecraft Disneyland. Bye, everybody.